And that's not even all of them. So yes, I have around 14 credit cards at the age of 21, and I got them all in the last 2 years. Am I in massive debt? And how bad is my credit score? Stick around and find out. I know credit cards can be a little bit daunting, but I'm here to show you that they're not all that scary. In fact, when used responsibly, they can be pretty awesome. Growing up, we're told to stay away from credit cards even after hitting the age of 18, which you can legally open one here in the US. And it stems from our parents thinking that we can't handle money responsibly. And I don't know each and every one of you, maybe you really aren't responsible with your money. And maybe you're already on your mom or dad's credit card and blowing through that thing. But I also think part of it stems from our parents' misuse of credit cards. Educate yourself on what I have to say in this video to use credit cards to your advantage, instead of letting them take advantage of you. I'm going to start off running through some of the benefits of credit cards, some of the rules you should follow to not get caught up in some of the traps of the credit card world, and then we'll go through my credit card journey, my current setup, and I'll explain why I have so many. So first off, some of the bonuses of credit cards. Number one is you can make money off of sign-up bonuses. So if you didn't know, for a lot of cards, even cards with no annual fees, you can earn a sign-up bonus for spending a certain amount of money within a certain amount of time on the card. These can range anywhere from $50 to hundreds of dollars in points. It all really depends on how much they want you to spend and how long or short of a time period that is. So for example, here's the Amazon Prime card. I think they gave me like $200 worth of money to spend on Amazon just for signing up. And you might have seen this when checking out on Amazon. But it also happens to give me 5% off when I'm buying stuff on Amazon. Now, through different cards, there are different types of rewards you can earn. And those are either in points or in cash. So like the Amazon card I showed you before, that's a rewards card in cash back. But then there's a card like the Chase Freedom Unlimited that offers you points as rewards. You can use those points towards travel, you can use those towards purchases. The credit card points game is its own thing we don't have time for in this video, but different card companies will treat points differently and have their own ecosystem of points and their own value to those points. There are also cards where you can earn statement credits. So one of my cards here, the Amex Platinum, gives me a few $100s a year in different credits, whether that's for TSA Pre and Clear at the airports, or for the gym at Equinox, or for digital subscriptions like Disney Plus or Audible, or even Uber and Uber Eats. The card has a hefty annual fee, but the credits allow me to more than offset that annual fee, as I'm spending that money month to month anyway. So I pretty much have the card for free. Another benefit of credit cards is the different types of protection they can give you. That ranges from travel protection in case your flight gets delayed or canceled or whatsoever. It's really easy to rebook and not have to spend extra money. This is for specific cards. There's rental car protection, purchase protection, where maybe you're not allowed to return something. A company like Amex, if you have one of their higher tier cards, might refund you the money themselves. If you have something stolen, you can file a claim as well and get money back that way. If there's credit card fraud, for a lot of these cards, you aren't liable for that fraud. And then also in emergencies, a credit card can be useful. If you have some random payment that you don't have money in the bank to pay for, you can put it on a card and hold it off for 30 days or more if you have a 0% interest card. The last section of credit card benefits is pretty straightforward, and that's enabling you to build credit. Eventually, you may need to buy a car, you may need to buy a house, and they're going to run your credit for those type of large purchases where you need to take out a loan. And the higher your credit, the more trustworthy you are to that lender, so you'll pay a lower interest rate on your monthly payments, which can save you thousands and thousands of dollars in the long run. So that's why starting to build your credit now is so important. Now we'll get into some of the rules you really want to make sure you follow when using credit cards. Number one is to make sure you pay your statement balance on time. If you miss a payment, that will ding your credit. Now, it's not the biggest issue in the world, and sometimes you may just forget to pay it. Just turn on auto pay if you're using a mobile app, so you will never forget to pay your credit card. Sometimes you can nag the credit bureau and they can get it fixed for you if you simply just forgot, but just make sure you're paying your credit card on time. Number two is to not carry a balance and to pay your statement in full. It might be tempting to pay only the minimum balance each month since that's the lower number they're giving you, but if you carry a balance, you're going to have to pay interest on that balance. And credit card interest is no joke. It can range up to maybe 40% interest. To put that into proportion, the US dollar devalues at 3% a year, and the stock market usually goes up by around 10% a year. So paying 30% interest is insane. I think my student loans are at like 6% interest. Mortgages are only around 7% interest right now, and that's high. So you do not want to pay 30-40% interest on a credit card. They're just stealing money from you at that point. Next rule would be to not overspend. It might be easier to spend money since every transaction is just the swipe of a card. It doesn't feel like you're actually spending money. So just make sure you're checking your transactions for the month every month and budgeting at the same time. So you're tracking where your money's going and making sure you're not overspending just because you have a credit card. The following rule would be to only buy what you can afford. If you can't pay off something you buy on your card immediately using money in your checking account, don't buy it. That's how you easily run into credit card debt, just buying things that you're not able to afford and pay off. And it'll also ruin your credit, and the money you owe will just keep snowballing and snowballing and snowballing, and it's very hard to get out of. So do not buy things you cannot afford just because you can put it on a card. My last rule would be to be wary of annual fees. Sure, cards that have high annual fees might seem exclusive because it's expensive to get that card, or it may seem like the perks are worth it, but the card may simply just not fit your lifestyle, and you may not get the full value out of that card with a high annual fee, so you'll actually be losing money on owning that card. I like to play around with different annual fee cards or cards in general to see if they really fit into my lifestyle for a year before I decide to keep them or cancel them or downgrade them. And I am paying a few cards with annual fees, but I get enough value for now. So now I'll take you through the various cards I do have and explain my journey along the way. Okay, we're gonna first off count exactly how many cards I have, just so I know. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Sorry for the fire siren. 16, 17, plus the Apple card is 18, but I don't think all of these are active. So I'm going to guess that I was right around 14. And we'll start off with my first card actually, and that was the Discover It Chrome. And I got this card, I'm gonna have to make sure I'm not showing you guys the numbers. I got this card when I was freshman in college, I think after my freshman year, and I knew I should start building credit. I had no idea where to start. I didn't even know if I had a credit score, so I applied to the Discover Student It Chrome. I think it gave me 2% back on everything, as well as a 2% match after the first year. And it's definitely a place I recommend anybody starting off with credit cards, getting a student card or a secured card where you have to put up a little bit of money as collateral, but you'll get it back when you do close that card. That's a good place to start when you don't have credit history and can't get some of the higher tier cards that I'll be showing you in a second here. So yeah, that was my first card. And then shortly after that, I heard of like travel cards, and the only travel card I knew I could get was this one right here. It's the Capital One Journey Miles card. And to be honest, I did not earn a lot of miles on that card. I don't even know why I got it. I think I just wanted to increase the amount of credit I did have to increase my score faster. I think both of these only had like a $500 limit, So it wasn't great for spending more than that. And when I needed to, I'd have to use my debit card. Yeah, those were my first 2 credit cards of a long journey ahead. Yeah, I'll start speeding through the rest of these here. I did product change that one to a Quicksilver card, which is better for traveling internationally. Product changing allows you to keep the credit card open or the credit line open, but switching to a new card within their ecosystem. So now I have the Quicksilver. I think next I actually got this card right here, which is no longer even active, but it's the Freedom Unlimited by Chase. And you should start off with the Chase ecosystem because Chase has something called the 524 rule. They won't approve you for a new card if you've already gotten 5 within the last 24 months. And not a lot of other companies have that rule. Chase is a good place to start. Getting the Freedom Unlimited or the Freedom Flex or the Sapphire Preferred is also a good one, especially for the sign-up bonus. That's something I wish I did if I could start over again. And then I got this card, which is the Delta SkyMiles Gold card. And I got that card because I was traveling, I think for spring break, and I read that you could get like $400 for free if you just spent any amount of money on a Delta flight, and I knew I was going to go on a Delta flight soon. So I literally bought a drink on a Delta plane and got $400 for free. Now this card does have a $95 annual fee. It was waived for the first year. I didn't have to pay anything the first year. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying you can get free money, free sign-up bonus money just for getting a card. So I kept that one open for about a year, I believe, and then I product changed it to the Delta SkyMiles Blue card here. And that card has no annual fee, so I get to keep that credit line open, and also so it doesn't hurt my score. I didn't have to close the other card. So yeah, I'm saving money and keeping a credit line open. Next card would be the Carrot card, which is actually metal. I was actually one of their first card holders in 2020 when it first started. One of the co-founders, his name is Eric, he was a Harvard grad, and when I was big on TikTok at the time, he had got my contact information, we did a phone call, and I actually got to be in one of their early articles where they announced they were raising money. And yeah, the Tricare team's doing a lot of cool stuff. They recently raised another $70 million and worked with some of the top creators in the world. Yeah, it's been a long journey with that card, but it's been very cool to have and watch the company succeed. This next one's literally from my local bank, Premier One, and I got it because they can see all the money I have in my checking and savings. So I figured they would give me a decent credit line to boost my available credit for score purposes, and it ended up being fairly true. So that's the only reason I have that card. It doesn't really give me any rewards or anything, so I don't use it much. Next, we have the Citi Double Cash card. That's just a good all-around card, you know, 2% back on everything. I think it comes in the form of like Citi thank you points, which you can use for travel or statement credit or whatever. But it's good to just have a 2% all-around card in general. It's better than 1%, you know? It's pretty much a catch-all card. Like if purchase doesn't get me more percent in another category, I'll use a card like that. I'm also forgetting one, and I'm filming on my phone, but it's the Apple card. And I really like the Apple card because it gives me 2% back on everything on my phone. And I can just use Apple Pay. So if I don't have my wallet available, I'll just use that card. And then the money goes straight into my Apple high yield savings account. So over time, money that I get back compounds and turns into more money. It seems like a little fun casino game. Next we have the Amazon Prime card, which I already showed you guys earlier. Got it for the sign-up bonus, and then it also gets me money back at Amazon and Whole Foods. This is the Chase Freedom Flex. I actually product changed my Freedom Unlimited to the Freedom Flex, which gets me 5% back on different categories each quarter, I believe. And the reason I did that is just because I wasn't using the Freedom Unlimited much, but I figured I could get more value out of the 5% categories if they happen to align with something I didn't already have a card for. Now we have the Amex Blue Cash Preferred, something like that. I think that's what it's called. This card gets me 6% back at grocery stores and I think 6% back on streaming services. It also, if you use it and attach it to your Apple account, it'll get you 6% back on anything there. Magically, somehow that counts as streaming services. So yeah, that card does have a $95 annual fee, but there is a sign-up bonus. I'm seeing if that one makes sense because I have another card that's kind of comparative in the grocery category, and that is the Amex Gold. I do think this makes sense for anybody who lives in a city, spends a lot of money on food, has to buy their own groceries, and eats out from time to time. This card is really good for restaurants and also grocery stores. It gets you 4 points back on each of those categories. It does have an annual fee of $250, I believe, but you get 2 big statement credits each month. I think it's $10 towards like Shake Shack or Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, a few other options, and then $10 in Uber Eats or Uber credit. I don't know if I did the math right, but it comes out to roughly like $240 a year in statement credits if you use those properly. So you're only paying $10 a year for the card. You also get an insane number of points if you meet the threshold for spending in the first few months. And Amex is very flexible when it comes to redeeming those points for travel, which I plan to do in the future. Next, we have this Bank of America card. It gets me like 3% back in a category of choice. So I'll just use that if I have a category that my other cards don't cover. I'll just choose the 3% for that category and then use that card for it. This is the US Bank Cash Plus card. It gets me 5% back in 2 categories of my choice and 2% back in one of my choice, I believe. So for this one, I choose transportation and the gym, and I'll use this card for both of those categories, which I have some okay spend in. Yeah, getting 5% back on a category or on a purchase is a dream. So that I love that card, and it's $0 annual fee. This is my Amex Blue Business Plus. This is a business card, so if I want, it is tied to my content business, so I'll spend content related purchases on that card. It has a sign up bonus as well. They gave me a really high limit. It has a $0 annual fee, and it helps me build business credit. So that's why I own a business card. And then lastly is the Amex Platinum, which is my most expensive annual fee card, but I get a ton of value, as I stated earlier in this video. Now that wraps up this video and this giant pile of cards here, but I hope you enjoyed. I am not in debt. I have so many cards for various reasons I can explain. Might not be the smartest thing, but I do get a lot of cards just for the sign up bonus, and then I don't really use them. I have a few day-to-day cards that actually make a lot more sense, but everybody's credit card journey is a little bit different. I just went down a rabbit hole and maybe went a little bit overboard. And my score is doing fine. I'm in the mid like 700s. I only have like 2 years of credit history and nothing really coming up I need my credit checked for. But I figured if I started really early and got all the cards I wanted, it'd be better for my credit in the long run. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I'll put some links in the description below for some good starter cards if any of you are looking to get into this world. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below as well. I know credit cards can be a little bit scary, but yeah, if you take some of the advice I laid out in this video, I do think you'll very much be okay. Now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.